Since the game is now getting good updates, I figured I'd make some videos on stuff that should be changed, and I want to start with these things. They're technically called sentries, but I prefer the name turret since it makes more sense. The problem is that these are also called turrets, so instead I shall refer to these for the rest of the video as mecha puppies, because that's kind of what they are. Can't do objectives, nor are they very good at killing enemies, and only really good for keeping a bit of enemy attention off of me until they inevitably break and leave. Let's start with problem number 1. Mecha puppies have the worst skill tree in the entire game. Other deployables have skills relating to them, but not an entire tree worth, and it's for the better. Look at most of these skills. They're mostly pointless increases in minor stats, with only 3rd Law aced, Engineering aced, and Tower Defense actually doing something of real value. But the thing is, mecha puppies are so bad that you're going to take all these dogshit skills just to make them worth something at all, especially on DS. 3rd Law aced gives mecha puppies a shield, which is necessary if you want them to survive at all, because, like everything else, they were not made with DS damage in mind. By default, they have 400 health, so aced Eco Sentry is basically required to bring it up to 1000. Their default firing mode burns through ammo incredibly fast and kills nothing, so aced Engineering AP rounds are basically required to not run empty instantly, as mecha puppies cost ammo to deploy in the first place. Now, technically, you could stop here. This is sufficient to get a mecha puppy to work on DS. A single mecha puppy. You've spent 19 points just to make it so that your deployable isn't an active hindrance. Let me remind you that with 19 points you can also do this. So okay, if you want mecha puppies to actually be useful rather than not useless, you also get Tower Defense Ace to have 4 instead of 1, and to stop yourself from having to 24/7 babysit their ammo, you also get aced sentry targeting practice. And to not waste the unlocked silenced mecha puppies from Engineering Basic, you ace Jack of all trades. Now you've thrown 46 points down the gutter. Congrats. So did you notice that every crucial skill I mentioned was aced? That's because every basic skill is completely pointless. As opposed to using the basic and ace system to decide how to get to path through pivotal or situational skills, the engineer tree makes you trudge through every basic skill just to get to the effectively necessary aced ones on every single skill. Sure, you can save 9 points on Jote, since all that does is allow you to bring 2 more silenced mecha puppies, or a doctor bag which can restore downs, or an ammo bag which can help sustain, or C4. Problem 2. Even if mecha puppies are bad when fully upgraded, they're even worse unupgraded. Every deployable in the game has some value, even unupgraded. Unupgraded doctor bags still restore downs, unupgraded ammo is still ammo, C4 can open things, ordnance bags give 99 concussion grenades, ECMs do this, 4 first aid kits can genuinely have an impact on some setups, and an armor bag can be used for some niche zerks. Body bags are a stealth deployable, I don't really care about it. But what exactly does an unupgraded mecha puppy do? It takes your ammo when you place it, and then, if it doesn't die instantly, kills nothing and runs dry in seconds. What is the point of ever bringing these if your build isn't already entirely invested in them? And builds are never invested in them because of the atrocious skill tree. The opportunity cost of dumping more than 1/3 of your points into something that barely works, compared to like 12 points to restore up to 32 downs, is a no-brainer. There's just never a real non-meme build reason to ever pick them. But okay, meme builds exist, and why not, you know? It can be fun every now and then to do something silly. You drop a couple of these down and watch as the enemies fight them instead of you. Problem 3. Converts do everything better. This may be more a testament to how good converts are, but the facts persist. Converts cost less points, do more damage, will follow you, can be refreshed after death, give major benefits for taking, and survive 512 shots compared to 5. The result is that even when I'm actively trying to use mecha puppies, I can't stop myself from thinking, why not just have converts instead? But converts aren't rewarding. You just take them and that's it. Whether they're across the map or right next to you, they don't really change how you play, and mecha puppies are the exact same. The difference between a build where you bring no deployable and a build where you bring mecha puppies is literally just the points. These builds are builds with less damage, less defense, and less support for no real gain. I mean, sure, I can put them down somewhere to defend a spot, but like, I can also just stand there myself. Or even dropping a C4 more often than not will work just fine. I lose nothing by just using my weapons normally and forgetting that I even brought the mecha puppies in the first place, and that's because mecha puppies just have no real impact on the game. So how do we fix these fuckers to not make them trash, not annoying, and worth picking in general without making huge changes? Here are some of my suggestions. First, we have to start with making default mecha puppies not utter trash. I think the easiest way to fix this is honestly just making them immortal. They'll still take your ammo, they're still not very effective at killing, but they'll work as a distraction at the bare minimum without needing any skills. This also solves the issue of someone placing a mecha puppy in your game and it breaking during the first assault, forcing you to listen to the rest of the game. The next thing to fix is the abomination of a skill tree that is Engineer. I'd move Jote to the top of the tree. Honestly, Jote is one of the most underrated skills in the game. There are some fucking nasty builds you can make, but people don't bother because Jote is kind of out of the way. 14 facts in a Bulletstorm bag, double Bulletstorm ammo in a Doctor bag, double Doctor bag in an Ordnance bag, etc. Moving Jote to the top will, 1. Alert people to the fact that, hey, this skill is actually very, very strong, and 2. Make using mecha puppies more convenient to people who aren't very good at the game. Again, the opportunity cost of losing medic bags is not something to ignore, especially when one down exists. I'd make basic Jote the ability to bring a second deployable, and Ace Jote give you the full deployable instead of half. As a result, taking the associated mecha puppy skills will bring you up to Jote, and then you can bring a doc bag with you just in case. This also has the side effect of making the fucked OP setups with Jote trickier. Since mecha puppies are immortal now, the shield has no purpose. So instead of Third Law Ace doing that, just make it unlock the suppressed mecha puppy. There's no good reason to use it in the first place, so there's no real harm in having it as a cheap option in case you prefer it for whatever reason. They're also not dog shit anymore, since they're immortal. Sentry targeting practice is odd. Honestly, just swap the basic and aced effects and it'll be more functional. Accuracy doesn't really even do anything unless the mecha puppies are targeting things far away, and that's just not relevant most of the time. For my testing, they don't even shoot at enemies further than roughly 20 meters away. Since their health doesn't exist, Eco Sentry Ace needs to change to something else, so maybe something like a faster rate of fire would work. You could probably further lower the cost of deployment, but that's kind of lame, and there's already 2 skills that do that. Maybe if it's possible, you could make the mecha puppy prioritize special enemies, or enemies that are trying to steal a bag or stop a drill, but that's getting a bit out there. The last skill to fix is Engineering, since the suppressed mecha puppy is now moved to Third Law. I think it would be reasonable to move AP rounds to Basic, but also buff the regular rounds. As of now, the Basic rounds are a colossal disappointment. They do less damage, seem to miss more often and overfire, and because they are the same ammo value as AP, end up running dry instantly. Maybe just change it so that there's 3 or 4 times as much basic ammo as AP. As for Aced, maybe add another firing option, a grenade launcher for example. It would take even more ammo, and would probably need some feature where it wouldn't shoot unless it sees like 3 enemies at once or something. This would give you more variety to play with when you put your mecha puppies down. If you want something even stronger and more gameplay changing, maybe some kind of long-range ammo refill instead. With these changes, mecha puppies are not as useless when unupgraded, not as useless when upgraded, and don't cost so much to make functional. Converts ultimately still do everything better, but again, more a convert issue than a mecha puppy issue. Now, you may be thinking, Carrot, these are changes to make them better for Death Sentence, but they work just fine in Deathwish and below. You'll just make them OP. 46 points will allow you to bring 8 of these buff deployables. And first off, wrong channel, buddy, check again. Second off, okay, so? There's already a ton of other OP shit in the game. Have you played Maniac below DS? Have you played ICTV Hitman below DS? Have you tried Frenzy Stoic below DS? I think if you're spending 46 points on something, you should be able to feel its effect. 30 points in the Sharpshooter tree is game-changing. 30 points in the Brawler tree is game-changing. Currently, 30 points in Engineer gets you next to nothing. Even then, you could always just pick a single mecha puppy and not upgrade it all the way. That was one of my major considerations when redoing the skill tree. Ultimately, I just want more of the nicher things to see more use, be it in DS or other difficulties. Of course, I think other things should get nerfed as well. Converts, doc bags, grays, hacker, and on. But I think people would be easier to onboard by buffing or reworking weaker things than nerfing the strong ones. Nerf hacker and akimbo SMGs right now and see what happens. I guarantee you that like 25% of the DS player base will quit the game on the spot. Anyway, maybe I'll make more of these videos on some other topics in the game that need changing, or maybe I'll get hit by a car and you'll never hear from me again. If you have any thoughts regarding these changes, or some of your own, there's a comment section, as I'm sure you're aware. And to sidetrack, good luck and make Payday great again.